So the American University of Rome is a small private liberal arts college that was founded in 1969 by an American gentleman who was here in Rome during World War II. And the university was founded on the idea that Rome itself is the ideal classroom for teaching and learning. And also the fact that the student's educational experience can be broadened and enriched by just living and learning in a multicultural, multinational environment. On average, we have about 450 students per semester. We also have 35 nations represented on campus, but of course the language of instruction is English. And the class size is relatively small. On average, we have about 16 students per class. I myself studied at the American University of Rome many years ago. And I remember being in a class with only one other student and of course the professor, but that was an upper level Italian literature course. The university currently offers 10 Bachelor of Arts degrees with 16 concentrations, 23 minors, and 3 MA programs. As I mentioned, we offer classes on a semester basis. So we have a fall semester, we also have a spring, but on top of that, we also have 2 summer sessions. And the summer sessions are essentially just a month long. That take place during the month of June, the first one, and then the second summer session would be during the month of July. Our campus, you can actually see our campus here on the first slide. And this is an aerial view of campus. We currently sit on top of the Janiculum Hill. We, over the years, have moved around the city. We actually started out near the Spanish Steps in a small room, but eventually branched out throughout the years. And in the early 1990s, we moved to our current location, the Janiculum Hill here. It's a small campus, unlike other campuses that I've visited in the United States or in other parts of the world.
I will see you later.
And and the neighborhood is quite quiet. It's residential, and there are a lot of foreign institutes that have their offices there. For example, there's the German Institute, there's the Norwegian Institute, there's the American Academy just up the street, and I believe we have the U.S. Ambassador to the Holy See right next door. So it's a very small, quiet campus, and we'll share more information about the different opportunities available on campus later on. So why study at AUR? As I mentioned before, class size is quite small. I remember sitting in a number of classes where it was just few students. So this, of course, opens up an opportunity to build close relationships with fellow classmates, but also professors. Our professors come from all different parts of the world, but the unique thing about AUR is just that that ability to build a strong relationship with them. So they are available to help you not only during class, but also outside of class hours. So moving on to the different courses that we offer on campus, but also off campus. So as you can see, the focus is on the humanities. I actually majored in Italian studies with a minor in art history. And I remember going around the city of Rome via one of the on-site courses to study the architecture, the history, or the sociology of Rome itself. But as you can see, we also offer courses in business, marketing, finance. We do every now and then get a couple of students that are math or chem majors back home, and they are looking at fulfilling electives abroad. So that's something that is available at AUR course. So moving on to more positive things about the university. We're originally a accredited university, so the courses, the credits will transfer back. The one thing I underline to students is start that conversation with your academic advisor and also reach out to your study abroad office to understand that the courses that you'll be taking abroad will be able to transfer and be applied to your curriculum back home. And as I mentioned, the focus of a lot of the courses that we offer on campus is Rome. May it be an art studio course, an art of history course, or even a business course. the business department and also the international relations department, they organize trips not only within Italy, but also throughout Europe. And the idea is to, yes, have students learn the topics in class, but also learn them on site by speaking to the appropriate organizations. And resources to ensure your success. We have a lot of resources that you can find back home. For example, we have an array of different help desks. We have the English writing, the Italian help desk, and those resources that are available to students to ensure that they do well academically. But also we have a number of resources in terms of just like medical doctor on campus. We also have a counselor available. So we understand that these resources are essential to the well-being of the students, so that way they can perform well academically, but also socially. And step into a whole new world. What do I mean by this? The fact that campus is very multicultural, professors really encourage you to different viewpoints, and just the overall experience, not only on campus, but off campus by traveling or just taking one of the courses that take you around Italy and Europe, really broadens your horizons. It opens your eyes to a whole different world and difference of opinion. And supporting you all the way through the different resources available. Apologize for the background noise. As I mentioned, campus is quite diverse. And this is a sample of the unique courses that we offer. As you can see, a lot of topics are covered. I myself took the Sicily Against the Mafia trip, and that was a weekend 1-credit course that took us down to Sicily to talk to different people that are dealing with this issue. But you also have courses that talk about sport and society. So, for example, during that course, students have the opportunity to go to the Olympic Stadium, visit other organizations that cater to sports. So during a regular semester, students are able to take up to 5 courses, but there are also opportunities, as I mentioned, to engage in a 1-credit weekend course through any of the departments. And other opportunities available on campus. So there are special lectures organized by the different departments. For example, down here below, you have Aurelio De Laurentiis, who is the president of Napoli Football Club, and he came and lectured about just his overall experience when dealing with business here in Italy, but also cinema. He's a film producer, and he has also sort of acted as a mentor to students in the film and digital media department. So these are just a couple of photos of students out and about during a sketchbook class, business marketing trip that took students down to City Hall to talk to the mayor. And another opportunity, this is for summer students, the students digging in the Colosseum. And this is a unique experience that's open to students with a bit of his experience, I should say, sorry, about when it comes to archaeology. And it's offered during the month of June, and it's the only course that you're able to take, and it really allows you to get hands-on experience, but also rub elbows with Italian students that are part of this initiative. When it comes to housing, we do not have dormitories as a traditional US campus, but also campuses across the world. But we do have our furnished apartments in the surrounding areas near the university. And basically, everything's provided for you. There's no need to bring sheets, towels, linens, towels. That's all provided for you. As you can see here from the list, apartments are well equipped. There is a kitchen that students can use. So the setup really encourages you to be independent. And the max capacity during a regular semester, max capacity is 6 students per unit. This fall semester, it's a bit different because of COVID regulation, so we had to cap that at 3 students per apartment. but during a regular semester, there are 6 students per apartment. If there are any roommate preferences, of course, we're willing to look at that and do our best to honor them. There is an agency that takes care of these apartments, and they provide routine maintenance and 24-hour support for any emergencies. And the distance between the university is relatively short. Students don't really have to travel for an extensive period of time. The transit time ranges between 15 to 25 minutes at most. A lot of the units are located along a bus line. Some units require that you change buses. You just have to bear in mind that we do sit on top of a hill. So if for some reason students decide to walk up to campus, then they have to bear that in mind, and you may have to add a couple of minutes, usually 3 or 2 other minutes to that, going up to the hill, up to AUR. In terms of opportunities to learn Italian language and culture, we do have a lot of initiatives through the Student Life Department. Our resident assistants, the so-called ResGrads, they organize trips to the open air market. They organize other activities like language exchange at one of the cafes in Rome. And the idea is to encourage students to branch out. Yes, you're studying here for a semester, but there are a lot of opportunities to really get in touch with the local community and learn some Italian, right? And that's what we tell students is make the most of this experience, whether it's joining a student organization or going and learning some Italian. And at the start of the semester, our resident assistants, the ResGrads, they organize tours throughout the city to help students get acclimated with the city of Rome. They also go over very basics like how to use public transportation, how to order a coffee, so what to look out for during the first few days to make sure that there's a smooth transition into the Italian lifestyle. Student clubs. So this is just a couple of student clubs that are on campus. We're willing to listen to students if they have ideas. In the past, for example, a student came forward and said, well, what about rowing opportunities? And our current athletics coordinator, he's looking into starting a rowing club. In the past, we did have an actual team that went and competed in the northern part of Italy, but that stopped for a number of years, and now our athletics coordinator is looking into starting that up again. So again, we encourage students to get involved, yes, in academics, but also in the social life and get to know other students that are there for a semester or full-time completing a degree. This is another initiative, Yoga with a View of Rome. And if you are looking into the sports, for example, you want to join the soccer team, the male or female soccer team, basketball or volleyball, it's an opportunity to rub elbows with Italians because you are competing against other universities in Rome. There are a couple of American campuses in Rome, but there are Italian universities and we are part of these tournaments. So it's a great opportunity to get to know other people who are studying in Rome and of course Italians. Just a couple of other opportunities available through Student Life. We have weekend excursions. For example, this weekend excursion takes you down south to the Capri, Mount Vesuvius, Sorrento, Pompeii area, and the excursion takes place over 3 days. Everything is pretty much planned and thought out for you, so all you have to do is just show up to the meeting point. There are guided tours along the way, and of course there's time to explore, for example, the island of Capri. So these are just a couple of stops that we make along the way during this field trip. And this is another weekend excursion, a weekend excursion that takes you to Tuscany. So there's an opportunity to explore not only the city of Florence, but also see Pisa. And then on the last day, we go and visit a vineyard. It's a great opportunity to learn about the food and wine industry there, and just get to know how things function. when it comes to businesses like this. And then we also sit down for a traditional Tuscan meal. And that's pretty much it on my end. And if there are any questions, I'd be happy to take those questions.
I'm not currently seeing any questions in the chat box right now. I guess one question I had
Sure.
is what would students expect when they first arrive? I mean, do you
Yes,
pick
that's
them
a
up
great
in the
question.
airport or?
Yeah, so once students have confirmed their enrollment, we basically at that point reach out to them through Katie, and students receive a pre-departure info sheet. So it outlines what to expect during the first few hours, first few days. In short, basically, students are asked to arrive on an assigned arrival date. Bear in mind that we have other universities that are sending us students, so it's a bit it's going to be busy during those few days. And we have our staff meet students directly at the airport, so FCO Fiumicino Airport. And once the student is greeted, checked in by one of our colleagues, then that student is taken to his, her, or their accommodation, where we have housing check-in, explain the do's and don'ts of housing, because housing does work differently in Italy and in Europe. And then at that point, the first day is reserved for students to get settled in. They can take part in the neighborhood roam tours organized by our ResGrads, the resident assistants. And the following day is reserved for orientation. Now, if students are here for a semester or academic year, let's say, then at that point they can also apply for the permit to stay. When it comes to getting a study visa, for example, once the student confirms enrollment, then we would supply the appropriate necessary documentation to confirm the student's status, and then the student goes and applies for a study visa. And once the study visa is obtained, then of course the student is allowed to fly over to Italy and then completes the permit to stay, which is a separate thing. The permit to stay is completed here in Rome. And that the permit to stay is mandatory for students that are staying in Italy, the EU, for more than 90 days. So that's also part of the orientation activities. And usually we have a welcome event at the very end of Arrivals Week. This semester, unfortunately, we weren't able to put together a barbecue because of social distancing. But yes, there's a lot going on during the first few days.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Sylvie, hi.
Oops. I apologize about my mic being on earlier. I did not realize that it was on, so I apologize.
No worries.
But
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Thank you for going over all this too. I think I really am considering going this spring, but I was just really curious about with COVID and everything. I've been going back and forth about when I should go because I'll be a senior next year. But I think next spring would make the most sense. But I was just curious. Well, first first of all, I have a couple questions. Sorry, I thought I had this more organized.
No worries. Take your time.
For the study visa, that is for just one semester too, correct? We would need one. Okay, and then also for when you're given an arrival date, are you gonna are we organizing our own flights and everything too? I'm assuming since we're coming from different areas.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And then it's just kind of a separate question too, but we have to register through Platteville, and I've been having a lot of issues with that, so I might just organize an appointment with one of the representatives.
Katie.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll throw my email here in the chat. Feel free to send me an email and we can set something up, and I can help you with that.
Okay, awesome. That'd be great, actually. And that should be it for my questions, but I appreciate you answering them.
Good. And what do you study back home?
retail merchandising and management.
Great. So we definitely have a lot of courses for you then.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I think I'm taking an Italian course. So that's like what I'm registered for, just to get like an
Yeah.
experience and really immerse myself in the culture. But
Of
yeah, the
course.
courses seem very interesting.
Yeah. And as I said, our professors are available to assist you throughout the entire semester. A lot of them do have business hours, office hours, I should say, on campus, but they're available. You can always reach out to them. And of course, the support services like the help desks, tutoring, that's all available to help students, when need be.
Okay, awesome. And actually, last question too, not to take up
Sure.
your time. But for like clubs and organized trips, so will we have to register prior to like our departure from like the US, or like will we like be notified like when we actually get there too and can register in
That's a
Rome?
great question. And what you need to do is basically get here, get to Rome. And then once you get settled in, we will have an activities fair. And during the activities fair, students are able to sign up, ask questions, meet with club representatives, but also our athletics coordinator who takes care of sports. And then from there, just sign up. And for the sports, there is one thing that you need to bear in mind, and that would be the fee that there is for example, soccer. If you're interested in joining the female soccer team, then I believe the fee is 70 euros. I would have to double check on that. And the fee basically encompasses the physical, because there is a medical physical that you have to do, and then the uniform. So that would be something to bear in mind. As for the other student organizations like student government, etc., all you have to do is show up to the activities fair when you are in Rome, sign up, and yeah, take it from there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, and then also the field trips, I forgot. The field trips, those we have limited a space. Okay, this semester we didn't go ahead and actually do the field trips because of COVID and other regulations. But the idea is to have them back in spring 2021, but we'll monitor the situation. And as I said, there's limited space because I think we have about 50 spaces, and those are open to the entire AR community. So students that are here for semester, but also our degree seeking students, as I mentioned. So what you need to do is basically sign up on the first day of classes, and our office opens up quite early on that day, and believe me, spots do sell out quickly. So we ask that students just keep that in mind, show up, pay, and then you're set.
Okay, great.
But they're great. They're great trips, I must say. I've been on all 3 trips. I didn't talk about the 1-day trip that takes students up to Assisi. And that's just a day trip where we leave super early in the morning. I think it's like 7. We take the bus up to Assisi. There's a guided tour of the town of Assisi, and just time for students to shop around, have lunch, and then we head back to Rome. But they're great trips. You really learn a lot. And as I said, everything is planned out. All you have to do is just show up to the meeting point. For the weekend excursions, it'd be Friday morning. We get on a bus, we travel to our destination. If there is a stop at, for example, Pompeii, then we have a guided tour of Pompeii. There's time to see the excavations. And if we go to Florence, there's an initial guided tour of Florence that goes on for like an hour and a half, but then you have a lot of time to explore the city of Florence. But they're all great trips. Great. Really worth the cost.
Oh, yeah, that sounds amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, but you'll also have other opportunities to travel, right? Because if you're coming here for a semester, I assume that that's going to be one of the top things on your mind, right? Being able to travel to different parts of Europe. But I always tell students, look, the airlines, the train companies, they'll sell you tickets, but it's up to you to basically check if there are any visa requirements or other restrictions in place. Because the last thing you want to do is get to the destination and find out that maybe you need, especially this semester, for example, a COVID test, or you get to the destination and there's a visa requirement, which has happened in the past. But other than that, it's quite easy to travel around Europe. It's cheaper than traveling in the United States. I remember one time I paid like almost $400 for a plane ticket from Boston to Miami. Here, I think the most I've ever paid was maybe 80 euros round trip for a flight from Rome to Berlin. So, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever been to Italy?
Yeah, I actually went to Rome and Florence
Oh,
and Venice, and then like Tuscany, like a couple like other towns like in 2016 with my family. So I definitely want to go back. So I'm super excited. I love Italy.
great. And you're looking at studying with us for a semester or summer session?
Yep, a semester. So yeah, I'm thinking of the spring semester.
Okay, that's cool. Great, we would love to have you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm yeah, definitely considering it for sure.
Yeah, great. And where do you study?
The University of Wisconsin Stout.
Okay, that's cool. All right,
Yeah,
great. So
thank
yeah,
you.
we'd love to have you. Whenever you're ready, just go ahead, apply. Don't rush through it. That's also another thing that I tell students is, don't rush through things. Ask as many questions. We're here to help you from the application process through arrivals throughout the semester, and then also once you return home. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions about anything related to studying abroad in Rome, or study abroad in general.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you. All right. Do we have any other questions?
I'm not seeing anything in the chat box. I see there are a few more individuals joined us partway through. I guess we can maybe give it another minute, see if we have any questions.
Sure.
Otherwise, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
So is my the screen with the passport and camera showing?
Yes.
Perfect.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, Sylvie, it looks like she raised her hand again, I believe.
Okay. Sylvie, if you have any questions, go for it.
Sorry, I forgot to lower my hand.
Oh, wait.
I'm good with questions. Thank you though.
No worries.
It happens.
Thank you. All good questions, Sylvie.
Yes. Thank you.
And if anyone has any further questions, like, of course, like Edgar said, feel free to reach out to him. You can also reach out to me. If you check in with your study abroad office at UW-Stout, they should be able to point you in the right direction as well. So.
Perfect. Well, I don't see any further questions. So with that said, thank you so much for joining us and presenting today. It was wonderful to meet both of you. And thanks for all the students that joined us. And I guess for students, if you have further questions, we have the Ask an Advisor sessions throughout the remainder of the Study Abroad Fair today. So feel free to jump in on one of those.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, and we hope to see all of you here in Rome at some point. So please reach out to us if you're coming to study or just for a visit. We'd love to have you with us.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye now.